it's Andy O'Reilly today at Community Choice Credit Union. One of the great things about working with a sponsor like Community Choice Credit Union is access to incredible minds like Phil Basalia. He is the manager at the Norton Shores location, right out on Ellis Road, across from the Muskegon County Airport. Phil, great to see you today.
Good to be here.
After Halloween, did you survive?
I did. I ate a little more candy than I probably should have.
Yeah, me too.
But you know what happens when the bowl's in front of you?
Yeah.
And you're passing it out, you take a few for yourself.
Your kids are teenagers, but they still had fun.
They did. They had a good time. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Important stuff. All right. We are really fortunate to be able to access you guys for financial information because it's just it's mayhem out there. I've had a checkered past financially. I never made enough money as I was working for other people, right? So one of the things that I learned the hard way early on was credit cards. I swore up and down that I'd never get one again after I went, and you know what? I think there's a lot of people out there that have that fear of credit markets and things like that.
Right.
Other people, they sail through credit markets and it's just, their whole life is on a credit card and it's just perfect. They're happy, they're fun, they're everything. Let's talk about credit cards.
Yeah, let's do that.
And equality, are they all created equal? So let's lean into credit cards. Where do we start? Where's a good starter credit card?
Right. Well, it's a good question. Not all credit cards are created equal.
Okay.
So the offer of the card is going to determine a lot of what the card has available to you.
Okay.
As far as rate, perks, grace period, all of those things. So there's a few cards out there. They're store cards.
Yeah.
Right? Every time you go somewhere, you can save 10% today.
And this is where that's why I bring up your teenagers.
Yeah.
This is where young people start often, is with store cards and things like that.
At the Gap or
right. Okay. All right.
or wherever they are, right? So every store is going to offer you a card,
right?
You're going to get an incentive to take the card that day. Think really hard about whether or not you really want to do that.
Okay.
Because having a bunch of cards open is probably not worth the 10% because of how it affects your credit.
Okay.
We can get into that a little bit later.
Okay.
But that's one of the cards that's available. Then you have a traditional bank card, like Citibank or something like that. My favorite cards, and I'm not saying this because I work at a credit union, but it's credit union cards offered by credit unions.
Right.
Because like their other loan rates, they're often lower. The credit card rates are lower, more attractive than a traditional bank card.
Okay.
The other thing to know about credit cards when you're looking is, what do I want the card to accomplish? Okay, so there's a lot of points cards out there.
Big time.
And that's what you see pushed, points, 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 points. Well, here's what people don't realize. This is one of the myths with credit cards. The points aren't free.
No.
They're not.
No.
So we offer two credit cards.
Okay.
We offer a non-point credit card and one that earns you 1.5%. It's a nice card. But the interest rates are significantly different.
Tell me about those.
So on the non-points card, we're as low as 11.49%.
Okay.
On the points earning card, we're at 16.49.
That's a big difference.
5% difference.
Okay.
Now, what are you earning in points? 1%, 2%. But if you're paying interest, you're going backwards.
See?
Do you see? So here's what I would tell people to consider when they're looking at a card.
Okay.
If you're going to carry a balance, if you can't pay it in full every month, then look for a card that has the lowest rate because you're going to pay the least amount of interest. And you're thinking, well, I might be giving up points. You would, but you're not going to be further ahead earning points than you are paying less in interest. But if you're a person who pays in full every month, you're this person you described at the beginning. Yeah, he's the guy that his life's great.
It's great. I pay it off every month. I'm flying here. I'm flying. Yeah, you know the guy.
If you're that guy or gal, go for the points card.
Right.
Because you're not paying any interest. Who cares how high the interest rate is?
Right.
It could be 30%.
Right.
You're not paying it as long as you make on-time payments.
Right. Yeah.
Credit cards are essentially, depending on when you make the charge, interest-free loans.
Right.
If you pay in full. So this is what I would tell to our watchers today.
Yeah.
When you're looking at a card, understand how you're going to use it.
Right.
Am I going to carry a balance? You're going to need to look for that lowest rate, not the most points. You're going to pay it in full? Go get those points.
So if it's an expense account that your company's going to pay every month.
Oh boy.
Yeah, get the rewards.
The points.
There you go.
Yeah.
Perfect.
One last thing to consider.
Yep.
There are cards that have annual fees.
Yes.
A lot of times airline cards specifically will have annual fees, and you're going to get something in return for
Worth
that.
it?
If you travel a lot, yes.
Okay.
But most people don't travel enough
Okay.
to make it worth it, in my opinion. Yeah. So I've looked at those cards. The fee to me is a little bit of an inhibitor. They might waive it the first year, but now you're going to pay $199 or $99 or $299. There's so many free cards that I would struggle to pay for a card. However, there might be a situation where you're trying to build credit and you kind of have to get in the door.
Yep.
Sometimes you can
do that.
Yes, you can pay an annual fee to get something like that.
So here I am coming off my disdain for the credit card world.
Yep.
I finally get a credit card because I need it for the company.
Yep.
It wasn't 3 months and they bumped my credit limit $6,000 up.
Okay.
Unbelievable. What's a good credit limit for me to set?
Did you want that credit increase?
I didn't ask for it,
Yeah.
but I took it.
Yeah. So
Good, bad, indifferent?
Sure. So this is something that people don't necessarily know.
Okay.
Cards are looking to extend additional credit to good credit risks. So whether you
Hi, Mom. I'm a good credit risk.
Well done. Whether you want it or not,
Yeah.
credit card companies are going to look to increase that credit limit because then you're likely to spend more.
Yeah.
And so you can turn that off.
I can.
You can call the credit card company and you can opt out of credit line increases.
Okay.
And so if you're a borrower where you're saying, I don't really want any more credit, I don't need these automatic increases. And by the way, it's a double-edged sword.
Yep.
Because it can affect your credit score. The more unsecured credit you have available, the better chance you're going to get in trouble.
Okay.
So for example, if you have 10 credit cards with a $5,000 limit each, overnight you can go $50,000
You can go hog wild.
and you only need your permission.
Yeah.
So the credit bureaus see that and they go, boy, there's a lot of unsecured credit out here.
Right.
So those automatic increases can keep bumping that unsecured credit up. All of a sudden, you're at greater risk of trouble.
I get it.
Because you can spend more.
Okay.
So here's how you determine how much you should have available on a credit card. And this is really important for people because this is a significant part of how your credit score works.
Let's hear it.
Credit scoring agencies only want to see you use 1/3 of your available credit limit.
Okay.
1/3. So simple math, I got a $1,000 credit card. I shouldn't use any more than $300 or $333.
I like how you dumbed that down for me.
That was good. Get real specific. So this is what I tell people who come into my office.
Yeah.
They'll say, hey, I want a credit card. This is the question I ask. What are you going to use it for?
Yep.
Some people are like, you know what, I'm only going to put my gas on it. This is for my groceries. Hey, I'm going to use this to pay my cell phone and my utilities, something like that. If you know what your monthly spend is going to be on the card, then you can multiply by 3.
Yep.
And you know that's the limit you should have.
Okay.
And so if you know you're going to spend $333 a month on some of these bills, the minimum you want is a $1,000 credit card.
Makes sense.
So when you have the ability to request what you want as far as a limit, you got to do a little bit of math. But it makes a significant difference. I track my credit score.
Yep.
Credit Union has a great tool.
Once a week.
It's totally free, and I
Yep.
can see where it's going, and it tells me why.
Yeah.
And there is a direct correlation between how much I'm using my credit card and that score, because I have a payment history that's spotless.
Right.
I've worked hard for that.
Yes, you have.
But
Me too.
when I take my credit limit up, when I'm spending more, I watch that credit score go down.
Yep.
And I've not done anything
I've seen it.
except spend a little bit more money, and
Yep.
I'm going to pay it. But it's still going to affect that credit. So here's
Yeah.
the key: 1/3
1/3.
of what the credit limit is all you should spend.
How often do you pay off that third? If you carry that third,
Yeah.
is that good or?
A couple of things to know. There's going to be a minimum payment on every credit card.
Right.
Right. That minimum payment is calculated one of two ways typically. It's either 2% of the outstanding balance, or it's 1% of the balance plus interest and fees. So if all you're doing is making a minimum payment, generally speaking, that's going to be good for your credit.
Okay.
However, there are some credit bureaus that look at that and go, they're just getting by.
Right.
They see that as a negative because you're just paying that $30 a month,
Yep.
and that credit balance isn't going anywhere.
No, it ain't.
Now think about this. If you're paying 2% a month, but the credit card's charging you, say, 24%, that's actually not an uncommon rate right now. Rates are up. You're only paying interest. Only paying interest, even if you're paying 2% of the balance every month.
Yeah.
So I would suggest for most people, minimum really means minimum. It's the bare minimum. You really want to pay a little bit more every single month. And ideally, you're paying it in full.
Pay it full.
Ideally, you're paying it in full.
Brings us to interest rates. They're going up and down.
Oh yeah.
Talk about that. I don't get that at all. So you're talking to the blind here, man. And I don't say that bad.
Yeah.
I don't get interest rates at all.
Well, for a little bit of context, in 2020, at the end of 2020,
Yeah.
the average credit card rate across the whole country, so really, really good credit to really, really bad credit, was about 16%.
Okay.
That was the average credit card rate. Today, depending on where you look, it's between 20 and 22%.
Okay.
So we've seen interest rates climb. And what some people may not necessarily know is that credit cards are a variable rate interest loan.
Yep.
So it's not the percent you get when you get it, right?
Like,
away.
not like a house.
It's not 10%.
Right.
As interest rates go up, that goes up.
Yep.
Well, that'll change your minimum payment.
Yep.
And so the minimum payment thing can be a little bit hard to budget because it can change month by month based on fees, interest rates,
Yep.
usage. So it can be
Annual
a little bit
fee pops up.
right?
Oh, yeah.
Yep. So what they need to know now in today's environment is because we've seen rates climb and there's more supposed to be coming. If you can start knocking down that principal, you're going to be in better shape because every time the interest rate ticks up a little bit, guess
pay
what?
more?
You got to pay a little bit more every single month. And think about this: 22%. That's where credit cards are right now on average. 22%. So that's where I said the math. If you're only paying 2% of the balance as your minimum payment, you're not even touching principal.
That's a quarter on every dollar.
You can
for the
carry
most
that
part.
balance
Yeah.
for decades. Be real careful.
Yeah, you don't
about
want that.
that.
And you know what? From experience, you don't want that. I
No.
did it. It's not easy. It's
Yeah.
hard. It's impossible.
So let me suggest something
Yeah.
to those who are out there who the credit card is where they've gone because they needed cash.
Yep.
Oh, car broke down.
Yep.
I got to go to the credit card.
Yep.
The credit union,
Yep.
community choice, we have a great option. We
Yep.
have credit cards, of
Yep.
course. But it's actually cheaper to get an unsecured loan through us.
Okay.
So you can come in, it's called a signature loan because
Yep.
you're saying, I promise based on my good word that I'm going to repay this. And so our signature loans are under 10% right now.
Nice.
We're actually, today's the first day. We're
Yep.
running a special through the end of the year for personal loans where the rate is as low as 7.99%.
Nice.
Fixed. And so if you're in a jam, car breaks down, and you're thinking, man, I'm going to have to use the credit card, but that's at 22%?
Come see you first.
Absolutely.
Nice.
There are options when you get in a pinch. The standard is run to the free credit.
Right.
But there's better options, and we would like consumers to know that.
Give me the misconceptions to clear up for us. Should we wrap things up here with these credit cards?
You know, credit cards are tricky. I think one of the big ones was the 30%. Don't
Right.
use any more than 30%.
Right.
That's something people don't know. Not all charges on credit cards are charged the same rate.
Okay.
That's not something people know real
Not
often.
at all.
So there's 3 ways to put a charge on a credit card. One is to go to the store, do a purchase.
Yep.
The other is to do a cash advance.
They're going to get you on that.
They're going to get you.
Yep.
Couple ways. Typically, there's a fee for the cash advance.
Yep.
Oftentimes, 1%
Yep.
is charged by the person who does that for you, and the interest rates are higher on cash
Yep.
advances.
Yep.
And then the last can be a balance transfer. It's a little bit of a shell game. I'm going to take it from this card. I'm going to put it on another card.
Yep.
And that can have a promotional rate, hey, 0% on balance transfers for a year, and then it's going to go up. And it's going to go above your purchase rate. Purchase rate is the lowest, and then cash advance and the balance transfer are typically higher. It depends on the card as to which is the highest. When you make a payment, they're going to reduce the balance on the lowest rate
Right.
first because they want to collect more interest. So you can put an extra $100 down. You're not reducing the balance that was the cash advance. You're reducing it on the purchase.
So many hoops.
So be real careful about doing cash advances. It's a real expensive way to get money.
Yeah.
And also, they entice you with these balance transfers. Be careful because once that promotional period's over, it's going to be high. I can almost guarantee it's going to be above 20%
Yeah.
on that money that you don't get paid off to get that moved around.
It's a college class in 15 minutes.
I think so.
I think you did
it's
good.
It's a lot to learn.
Dude, and you're the guinea pig. You're starting this whole thing off. Great job, Phil. It's awesome to have sponsors like Community Choice Credit Union that can take the time and sit down and just tell you all this great advice right there, and it didn't cost you a penny. That's why they're here with us, and that's why they give big. It carries through all they do in every community they serve. Phil, thanks so much for your advice today.
Yeah.
I learned all this the hard way. Where were you when I was coming up?
I might have been a twinkle in my daddy's eye.
I
I'm
know,
not
right?
sure.
Oh, thanks. Now I'm the old guy. Perfect. Community Choice Credit Union. Stop in and see them today.